is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Wisconsin.
Beautiful Miller Park on a Thursday afternoon. Final game of the series, the rubber game this afternoon. The Giants and the Brewers. Giants have won 5 of their last 7 ball games. The Brew Crew trying to win this series, and they're going to match up against a former Cy Young Award winner. Jake Peavy on the mound. 0-2 with the Giants, traded from the Red Sox. He'll match up against one of the National League's best winners, Willie Peralta, going after number 14 here today. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Sophia Minard, our reporter today. Good to be with you on a day game. We're glad to add these telecasts here in a pennant race, and the Brewers now trying to win this series against the Giants, and they're going to give the ball to the guy who's been their horse here lately.
He has won 4 in a row and 9 of his last 10 decisions, and he has come up big after Brewers losses. When you look at what Willie's done after the Brewers have lost the game, he makes a start. He is 8-3. You can't get much better than that. Second-year guy that has really come of age. I mean, he's got a lot of poise out there in the mound. All of his pitches seem to be working for him at this point. Last time out, very good, and certainly Willie needs to have a good outing. Bullpen a little bit tired. He had a short start yesterday from Gallardo, so Willie, pressure's on him once again today.
Brewers trying to win a series for the first time since they swept the Reds here at Miller Park. Peralta trying to go for number 14 today. That would send him to the top by himself in the National League. He's in some pretty good company, isn't he? 5 pitchers with 13 wins. We're going to see one of those guys, Clayton Kershaw, on Sunday. And that begins the stretch of Cy Young Award winners. You got Peavy today. We'll see Greinke on Saturday. Kershaw on Sunday as the Dodgers come to town over the weekend. Big ball game this afternoon. Can the Brewers win the series from the Giants? Carlos Gomez will be a big part of it. Craig and Davey will discuss when we continue.
Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, now in the original can, it's Miller time. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Nothing but brilliant sunshine for this Thursday afternoon matchup between the Giants and the Brewers here at Miller Park. Milwaukee now for the 125th day of a 129-day season so far, spending time in first place. They'll open up with a one-game lead over St. Louis, 1.5 over Pittsburgh, and 4 over Cincinnati. All three of those teams play tonight. There's a good look at Carlos Gomez, always smiling, and he can smile because so far in this two-game series he has had a great work ethic at the plate, also stealing some bases, making his catches. He's just being Carlos Gomez, isn't he?
That's right, and in being Carlos Gomez, he makes things happen. This is what Carlos is all about. He can hurt you with his glove, with his legs, with his bat, the way he can steal bases, hit the ball out the yard. Look at that nice bunt. Carlos can do it all. When he is on his game, this guy is a 5-tool player.
And he's making the defense work as well by legging out those infield singles. And then the next at bat, he'll nearly take it out of Miller Park. So we'll see if the smiles will continue for Carlos Gomez and the Milwaukee Brewers here. Big Willie on the mound. Enjoy it. Giants Brewers next.
Willie Peralta leads the Brewers out onto the field here at Miller Park. Final game of the series with the San Francisco Giants. Crystal clear skies up above. It's a beautiful day. They have the roof halfway closed, trying to prevent some of those rough shadows that creep across the pitcher's mound. That's been the tradition here over the last couple of months. Make it a little easier on the hitters, a little safer for the players. 73 degrees this afternoon in Milwaukee. Brewers are awaiting the Los Angeles Dodgers. They will arrive tomorrow. One game left with the Giants. Bruce Bochy's club has played well. They took 3 out of 4 from the Mets to start this road trip. They've split this series so far, and they are headed to Kansas City after this game today. Bochy's lineup today brought to you by Associated Bank, and the Giants are getting closer and closer to 100%. They get a big bat back and a great player back. And Angel Pagan returns from a back injury today. Hunter Pence into the 2 spot because of it. Buster Posey will bat 3rd. And then you've got Sandoval, Morse, and Joe Panik in the middle. Brandon Crawford, Andrew Susac, and Jake Peavy will round it out. The starting 9 against Big Willie Peralta.
Yeah, Willie's won 9 of his last 10 decisions. Matter of fact, Willie has not lost a game since the end of May. It's been an unbelievable run. He lost to the Chicago Cubs back on May 31st, and since that time he's done nothing but win 9 out of 10, 4 in a row, and he's beat the Cardinals twice in that stretch where he's won 4 in a row. Making start number 23 here today.
Angel Pagan back from the disabled list. Went through a couple of days on a minor league rehab. This guy was a huge part of the Giants World Series winning team in 2012. And after missing 44 games, he's finally back in there. And Peralta's first pitch is away for ball 1. And away we go from Miller Park. Giants come in with a record of 62-52. Same record as the Brewers. Difference being the Brewers are still in the lead in the Central Division of the National League by a game. Cardinals lost last night. Bochy's Giants are 2.5 back of the Dodgers. And the Brewers are going to see the Giants and the Dodgers in a home-and-home scenario this month. Be heading to San Francisco at the end of August.
Giants didn't do too bad without Pagan. I mean, they're still in a hunt. Pagan, their leadoff hitter and one of the leaders on this ball club. Out since June 14th. Almost 2 months. Tough guy to lose. Your center fielder, your leadoff hitter.
And Pagan breaks his bat. Shallow right field. Long run. Braun can't get there. And Pagan is aboard. Another broken bat hit. I had a lot of those last night. And Pagan starts it with a single. That ball was in the air a long time, but Braun plays very deep. Pagan breaks his bat. Shallow right field. Long run. Braun.
You wonder if Ricky was able to get there. Braun playing deep out there in right field. Got a late break because it was off the handle. And dumps in front of him out there in right field. So another broken bat. You know, they had some broken bat hits last night and some bleeders through the infield, but still in all, the Giants making contact and getting things done.
Well, last night the Giants won 7-4 after the Brewers won the opener 4-3. Hunter Pence, who has been leading off in the absence of Pagan, hit second today. Probably figures to be his spot. Bruce Bochy's been dealing with some injuries. Still has his backup catcher on the DL, Hector Sanchez. So Andrew Susac starts once again. And Marco Scudero on the disabled list as well. But I tell you, Rock, they have found something special in their young second baseman, Joe Panik. This guy looks like he's going to be a good player in the big leagues.
Yeah, swinging the bat well in this series for sure. And you just wonder if he's going to be able to make the adjustments, you know, for the long term to be able to be a good hitter in the big league. Looks pretty good defensively. Batting down in the order today. Pagan, one of the guys on this Giants club that will steal bases. There's not many of them.
1 ball, 1 strike on Hunter Pence. Long look from Peralta, and Pence, a bouncing ball. Segura lays out, flip to second, and out at second base. What a play by Gene Segura. And we might have an early challenge here as Bruce Bochy is on his way.
Well, Pagan not moving, and like we always say, these players know if they're safe or out. They get a sense for it. Fielders know it. Base runners know it. And if he hits the bag with his lead foot, it's not going to be even close. But the fact that that front foot went over the base and got it with the back leg is why he's out and he's leaving the bag.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bochy will not challenge. He missed it with his front foot, and it was close.
He gets that front foot down on the ground. He's safe.
So that is a terrific play by Segura to get the out. Put out goes 6-4. And here's Buster Posey with Hunter Pence at first base. You know, the thing about that play by Segura, because they just watered the infield prior to this game, when he laid out and he hits the ground, he doesn't slide through it like he was expecting. Almost just stuck in the mud a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that it's muddy, but it's a little wet out behind second base.
And it kind of disrupted it just enough that he really couldn't get much on the flip. Kind of lost the handle on it, kind of slipped out of his hand, but still able to get the out.
Well, Segura, he has struggled with the bat, but he continues to show great range, play very impressive defense from the shortstop position. He is making a difference in games with his glove. Well, a man on for Posey with one away. Former MVP. And a bouncer up the middle and a base hit.
There's nothing but singles last night for the San Francisco Giants, except for a Sandoval 2-run home run in the 8th inning. It was 14 hits for the Giants, 13 singles. And let's check out the Brewers defense, brought to you by Menards tonight. Chris Davis back in left field. He homered last night coming off the bench. Gomez, Braun. You got Ramirez, Segura, Ricky Weeks back at second base. Scooter Gennett sits this one out again. Reynolds at first, and Jonathan Lucroy back behind home plate. He was at first base last night.
Alan Porter calling the balls and strikes. Eric Cooper, Tom Hallion, Hal Gibson. The 3 base umpires. Crew chief out at second base. Well, the Giants scored 3 in the first inning last night, and they are threatening here today. Pablo Sandoval at the plate with 2 on. Sandoval has been an RBI machine his last 3 games. He has 9 RBIs in his last 3 games. 3 RBIs in each of those 3 games. Longest streak in the major leagues this season.
Yeah, Giants starting to put together some runs. Yeah, the pitching's very good. The defense very good. And all of a sudden they're starting to get healthy and scoring some runs.
Sandoval hit a 3-run home run on Thursday, or rather on what day was that, Rock? Tuesday night. Forgot where we were.
Yeah. Off day Monday.
That's right.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and today.
Now we got
Today's Thursday.
So Sandoval on Tuesday, game 1 of this series, a 3-run home run that tied the game. Had a game-winning double against the Mets on Monday. Peralta powers one past him. 2-1 to count. He's off to a great start in the month of August. He has almost as many RBIs already. This is August 7th than he did the entire month of July, and more RBIs than he had in June.
Yeah, the switch hitter had a home run on Tuesday left-handed, and last night right-handed. Showing some pretty good pop from both sides of the plate.
2 balls and a strike. Inside, almost hit him. Now the Giants feeling pretty good about their ball club right now as they start to get healthy. They did lose Matt Cain. That was a significant loss, but they have made a trade and acquired Jake Peavy. And it's his turn in the rotation today. They reunite Jake Peavy with his former manager in San Diego, Bruce Bochy. Brewers have faced Peavy already this year. They saw him as a member of the Red Sox early in the season in April.
Been a rough season for Jake Peavy. Split time between the Red Sox here and the Giants.
Full count to Sandoval. The runners go, and a bouncer to Segura, and his only play is first base.
Staying out of the double play. Bruce Bochy sending the runners. That would have been an easy double play for the Brewers had the runners not be on the move.
Second and third with 2 away now. Giants have been able to do that on a few occasions in this series. You know, they're clicking along pretty well right now, making the right decisions and sending runners, staying out of double plays. The risk you run in a play like that, if Sandoval hits a line drive at an infielder, going to have a double play, it's going to be easy to get out of it. Sandoval does hit a lot of line drives as well. He also strikes out occasionally too.
Yeah, you get the strikeout, you get the strikeout, throw him out, and Luke would probably go to second base and get the trail runner.
But it works out for him. Second and third with 2 away. Michael Morse, third among the Giants in RBIs. He drove in 3 last night. And a 2 RBI broken bat single in the first inning against Gallardo last night. That was a real grinder of a game last night. It lasted 3 hours and 52 minutes. Actually, 3:53 was the official game time last night. And the Brewers poured through some relievers in the game yesterday as well. 4 of them, as a matter of fact. Gallardo was out after 4 innings.
And Marco looked very good in 3 scoreless innings, getting allowed only 1 base runner, a base hit. That was it. Marco doing a nice job in that long relief role.
And he'll be down for a couple of days after 3 scoreless innings. Just 39 pitches. Kept the Brewers in it. Brewers had a chance until the Giants put 3 on the board in the 8th to stretch it out. There's a swing and a miss. 2-2 the count.
There's that heavy 2-seam fastball from Peralta at 96. Right under the hands of Michael Morse. Check this pitch out. Out of the strike zone. He goes after it. Good look at it. Getting on top with the fingers, and that's how you get that good downward movement.
Second and third, 2 outs. Peralta having to make a big pitch early. The 2-2. No jam shot foul. Now, even though Gallardo struggled last night, he's been very good here lately, Giovanni Gallardo. And had a rough night last night. But even with that start last night, the Brewers starting pitching still going along very well. Last 15 games, the starters with a 2.73 earned run average. And the Brewers are 7-4 in that stretch from the starters.
And that start could have been a whole lot worse for Giovanni Gallardo. I mean, he had men all over the bases in his 4 innings. Giants stranded 9, but they were only 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position. So although it was not a very good start for Giovanni, minimized the damage and gave the Brewers an opportunity late in the game to come back and win.
Yeah, the Brewers scored twice in the 7th. They got to within 1. Ended up in a 7-4 final. 2-2. Peralta delivers high and tight. And did that hit him? I think it did. Morse is saying it hit his hand.
So is the home plate umpire.
Alan Porter points him to first base. So a hit by pitch.
Yeah, maybe just grazed that bottom hand, a little finger. You see Morse, big and tall, stands off the plate, dives toward home plate, and just not able to get out of the way. Just barely grazing the finger of Morse, and he'll take first base. Yeah, hard to tell. I mean, they're looking at it on the replay, but how do you know?
John Shelby is down there, Brewers coach, checking the replays, and you could almost read the lips of Jerry Narron, the bench coach, saying, I don't know, he can't see it. Meaning they can't tell on replay whether to challenge or not. So the inning continues here. The bases are loaded, and the Giants putting up an early threat with a hot hitter coming up. Joe Panik. Might not recognize the name, but he's coming along pretty well for the Giants. He is 8 for his last 14. He's had multi-hit games in his last 3 games. 5 for 10 in this series with an RBI, a couple of runs scored. He's been hitting second in the first 2 games. Dropped down in the order with the return of Pagan.
Man does a nice job, at least in this series, putting the ball in play. He's been able to foul off some tough pitches. Actually, he's gotten a couple of base hits on some pitches that have been out of the strike zone. Not much of a book on Panik for the league, but they'll catch up to him. Just a matter of whether he's going to be able to make the adjustments.
Put up big numbers in AAA. Fresno hit .321 in the Pacific Coast League. 5 home runs, drove in 45. That was across 74 games. Called up from AAA on June 21st. Giants have had a bit of a revolving door out there, but they feel like they've settled on Panic for now. And a swing and a miss. Peralta struck him out with a nasty slider. 89-mile-an-hour slider to get the K. Giants strand the bases loaded. On a Thursday afternoon, and the Brewers ready to face Jake Peavy. Ron Renicky trying to seal up a series win against the Giants. Renicky used to manage in the Giants system. He was their AAA manager at one point. His Associated Bank batting order: Gomez, Lucroy, and Braun. You've got Ramirez, Davis, and Weeks today in the middle, with Reynolds, Segura, and Peralta rounding it out. And it's his 3rd start as a Giant for Jake Peavy, traded from the Red Sox to the Giants, and has just 1 win this year. He's 1-11. His lone victory came against the Blue Jays on April 25th while pitching for the Red Sox. That's been it.
Yeah.
And first ball swinging, Gomez, almost an extra base hit.
And Peavy's first season with the Padres back in 2002, so he's been around a while. He spent some time in different seasons on the disabled list. The Padres, the White Sox, the Red Sox, and now the Giants. 0-2 with the Giants in 2 starts.
Now, he was at the front of Bruce Bochy's rotation in San Diego, twice an All-Star with the Padres and a former Cy Young Award winner. 2007 was his Cy Young Award year. "33 years of age, Alabama native from Mobile, Alabama."
Yeah, making his 11th start career against Milwaukee. 3-3 his record, but has never won at Miller Park. 0-3 in 4 starts here in Milwaukee.
The Brewers are trying to keep it that way. Much different pitcher than he was back in the day with Bochy. Doesn't have that blazing fastball, but he's a competitor. And as Gomez into left center field, Pagan cannot get there, and a base hit. A good start for the Brew Crew as Carlos Gomez, a leadoff single in the first.
Able to wait back long enough on an off-speed pitch, and Gomez right off the end of the bat. It might have been a changeup, actually. Changeup or something along those lines. Looked like a slider. Didn't do much. I thought it might have been a changeup because it didn't move. It didn't break. So a little cement mixer to Gomez, and right off the end of the bat, a good start to the day from Milwaukee.
Yeah, Gomez hit a home run in his first at bat yesterday. 5 leadoff home runs, leads the club this year. And he's aboard. We'll see if he's on the move here shortly. Lucroy back into the 2 spot in the batting order. Gomez, always a threat to steal a base, has 23 bags this year. He's been caught just 4 times. 23 out of 27. Lucroy hitting .305, 12 home runs, 53 driven in, has a couple of doubles in this series. Lucroy was 1 for 5 last night. Had 2 doubles in the opener on Tuesday night.
9th time that he's been in the 2 spot in the batting order. It really doesn't matter where Lucroy hits. He's been good regardless. 2, 3, 5 in the batting order. Not much lower than that.
Gomez takes off. Posey's throw. Yeah, that is in time. Beg your pardon. Susak's throw. And Gomez is caught stealing. That is a rare bird. The tag on the helmet. And Susak cuts down one of the more successful base stealers in the National League.
Notice not many of the Brewers are sliding head first anymore. And actually, I think Gomez is very uncomfortable sliding feet first. It appears as though he slows down a little bit when he makes his slide feet first. But the new rules and the replay with guys sliding over the bag, maybe losing contact with the bag, has changed the philosophy.
And you can see that Panic, the second baseman, is a guy that plants his leg right in front of the base. He did that on Tuesday night as well. That was with Lucroy running the bases. And Lucroy shoots one into right center, a base hit. Pagan able to cut it off. And the Brewers with back-to-back singles to start the day against Jake Peavy.
Yeah, it's only going to take one time for a guy to slide feet first hard into that leg before he stops doing that. Let's check out the Giants defensively. They turn a lot of double plays, and they've been pretty good defensively as of late. You got Morris Pagan. Pagan making a start in center field. He's been out almost 2 months. You got Hunter Pence, Sandoval, Crawford, Panic, and Posey from third to first, and Susak behind home plate.
One out, runner at first for Ryan Braun. Giants stranded, the bases loaded in the first inning. A scoreless inning for Peralta. Braun into right center. That's going to get down and go to the wall. Lucroy on his way to third, and he's going to try to score. Here comes a throw from Crawford. Lucroy slides, he's safe. All the way from first, Lucroy scores. Braun with a double, and the Brewers lead 1-0.
All right, there, good. Jake Peavy's not fooling anybody. The Brewers putting a good approach on him. And Angel Pagan, his first start in a long time, getting some running in out there in the outfield. That one ticketed for the right center field gap right away. You see that 2-seamer staying up. A little bit of a bobble out there by Pagan, and that is what got Ed Cedar to wave Lucroy around, and he scores easily from first base.
That snaps an 0 for 10 for Ryan Braun, an RBI double. Here's Ramirez. First pitch breaking ball and a swing and a miss. Yeah, you could almost see in the body language of Lucroy, he was maybe a little bit in shutdown mode on his way to third, and he saw Ed Cedar wave him home. It's like, are you sure?
You're kidding me.
He turned the corner.
This is a day game after a night game, Ed.
Ramirez into right field. That ball's well hit. Pence going back, and he makes the catch. And Braun has to stay put.
Peavy getting a lot of the plate, and the Brewers putting some good swings on him. Hunter Pence able to make the adjustment after misjudging it initially and getting it right in the webbing out there just at the edge of the warning track.
Yeah, almost knocked it over his head. That certainly would have scored Ryan Braun. Now 2 men are out. A caught stealing and a line drive to right. And here's Chris Davis. Back in the starting lineup. Davis homered yesterday. Got 2 at-bats in yesterday's game. Entered the game as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, Brewers not messing around. 12 pitches for Peavy, 3 hits and a line out to right.
Well, Davis with 18 home runs for the season. Has 5 hits, including 2 home runs against the Giants. In the air to right, and Pence will make the play to end the inning. Good start for the Crew, though. They're swinging the bat well today early. 3 hits, a run is in. Ryan Braun with an RBI double, snapping an 0 for 10. Maybe his bat will start to produce. The Brewers need him. Rubber game of this 3-game series, and the Brewers have the early lead.
We head to the second here at Miller Park, and Willie Peralta has gone 9-1 since the beginning of June, and Ron Renneke saying that during that run he has been outstanding and he's been able to win with his best stuff and even battling when he doesn't, like his last start against St. Louis. Gave up 4 walks but was able to minimize that to just 2 earned runs over 6 2/3, and Renneke said that's a huge sign of his growth, that he's able to battle through those games when his command isn't there, still keep the team in the game, and he's been the stopper for the Brewers. Coming after a team loss, Peralta is 8-3. Ryan?
Yeah, and that's a big stat. Wins are wins, and I know you'll get a lot of debate, and there has been a lot of debate about victories with starting pitchers and the importance of those victories. But Peralta sitting on 13 wins, and the ability to come back after a loss and pitch the kind of game to get a win, I think, is very important. And Rock, you made a good point earlier talking about Willie Peralta in our Brewers Live pregame show. The Brewers score a lot of runs when Peralta is on the mound, averaging a little over 8 runs per game in this little window here. I think there's a little bit of confidence with an offense when they know Peralta is pitching on that particular day. So I don't think it's just blind luck that he gets the kind of run support that he gets. Since June 5th, it's over 8 runs a game.
Yeah, and that hasn't been the way it's been all season long. You know, April and May, he didn't get a whole lot of run support, but since that time, you can see what the Brewers have done. Double-digit run totals in some of his starts, you know, in that stretch, and has looked good in doing it. And you're right, I think the players realize, the offense realizes they're not going to have to score a ton of runs to win a ball game. Not to say that they feel that way with everybody else, but Peralta's been so consistent and keeping the opposition off the board that, you know, they're up there relaxed, knowing maybe a few runs is going to be enough. And when he has that pitch right there, he's going to have a good outing.
His last 2 strikeouts, his last 2 outs have been strikeouts on that slider. Nasty breaking ball, and he zips one past Andrew Susac.
No, Sophia was mentioning 4 walks his last time out, but 3 of those walks came in the first inning, if you remember.
That's right.
Against the Cardinals. And then he was able to settle down.
Peralta pitching a gem against the Cardinals, beating Adam Wainwright. He's got 2 wins against the Cardinals, as a matter of fact, in his last 4 starts. He beat the Reds. And a victory over the Mets in this stretch. The stretch of 4 in a row that he has won, 4 decisions. Andrew Susac, backup catcher. Today Posey is at first base. Susac back there for Jake Peavy. Giants are hopeful to get Hector Sanchez back shortly. He's been out with a concussion. They had a couple of players that missed some time with a concussion. Brandon Belt, the other. '25-year-old catcher coming up from AAA Fresno as well. 2-2 the count. 3-2 on Susac.
And sometimes Willie's pitches move a little bit too much. I mean, he's got such good movement sometimes that he's going to miss the strike zone, not because he's trying to be too fine on the corners. It's just too much movement once in a while.
There's a shot. Oh, what a play by Ramirez from his knees. A bounce in time. How about it? Aramis Ramirez with a gem. Yeah, tip your hat for that one.
Well, he's playing third base about as good as we've seen him in a long, long time. Finally healthy. You know, the knee problems last year kind of minimized his range. Missed a lot of time, but he's feeling pretty good, moving around nicely, and able to throw that one from his knees and get the catcher running down to first base. What a play. Taking away extra bases and getting the out.
Yeah, beautiful play. Peralta appreciates that one from his third baseman. Here's Jake Peavy right off the end of the bat. Ricky Weeks will scoop it up. 1-2-3 inning. We've seen a couple of sparkling defensive plays today already. Ramirez joins Segura.
Former Brewers Zach Greinke and the LA Dodgers head to Miller Park for a potential postseason preview with your first place Milwaukee Brewers tomorrow through Sunday as the Brewers and the Dodgers square off in a showdown of National League powerhouses. Visit Brewers.com for tickets.
How about the Dodgers tonight, Rock? They are playing the Angels in Anaheim. That is a night game. That game will not even start until 9:05 Central. And then they've got a long flight to Milwaukee. Peavy starts this run of former Cy Young Award winners. Peavy, Greinke on Saturday. And Clayton Kershaw will get the ball for the Dodgers Sunday. He'll match up against Jimmy Nelson. The Brewers are going to announce their Saturday starter after the game today. A lot of speculation is that it would be Mike Fiers, especially after Estrada went 3 innings last night, but we'll see. We'll get the official word after the game today.
Yeah, not sure if Marco is going to be able to come back after 3 innings to pitch Saturday. That's a couple of days from now, but you never know. Marco has been resilient regardless of where he's been used in that pitching staff. Knows he has today off, though.
Well, the Brewers bullpen has certainly been in the spotlight here lately. They have struggled as a group. There have been some good individual performances, but a bullpen that was going along very well through the first half of the season. Frankie Rodriguez still among league leaders in saves, but the Brewers are having a tough time getting to the closer.
Man, just waiting for that second win. They were so good for so long, and in a bit of a stretch where they seem like their pitches don't have the same snap to them. That happens to a lot of bullpens. I mean, this Brewer pen has been used a lot, not because of bad starting pitching, just because of the amount of close games that the Brewers have been in. And Renick's been forced to go with the matchups just about every night. Guys getting up, sometimes not getting in. That happens.
Full count to Ricky Weeks.
But you go through stretches through the season where you're going along, you're feeling pretty good, and you have kind of a down period. Your arm feels like it's dead, and right now that might be what's going on with the Brewers pen as a group.
And you certainly need a deep start today from Peralta after using 4 relievers in last night's game. Full count. Weeks lays off ball 4. So the Brewers are getting some good at bats early against Jake Peavy.
Well, Peavy, as he's gotten up there in age, just doesn't have the snap on the breaking pitch. It's a little bit easier to identify out of his hand. Used to be a very late breaking, sharp breaking slider, and not so much anymore, as you would predict as you get a little bit older. Not throwing as hard. In the midst of a very rough season for him, 1-11 between 2 teams.
Well, Peavy has spent a lot of time in the stretch here early. The Brewers had 3 consecutive hits to start the game. A run in on a Braun double. Mark Reynolds at the plate with Weeks at first. .207 average for Reynolds. He has 19 home runs, 39 driven in. He's still looking for his first hit of this series. Reynolds against Peavy is 3 for 20 career. And he just missed that one. A high pop up. Got in on the label a little bit. Morse will make the catch for out number 1. Fooled him, had him out in front a touch. Reynolds retired. 1 away for Gene Segura. Well, Segura has already made a great play defensively. Came in the first inning. Who knows where that inning was headed without that play by Segura. Giants ended up stranding the bases loaded. Was a scoreless inning for Peralta. A couple of gems already, Segura and Ramirez.
Yeah, Gene showing some signs of much better approach in yesterday's ball game. Couple of base hits. Actually 3 base hits, 1 to left, 1 up the middle. And a swinging bunt for a base hit. Brewers have to get this guy going.
Now, it is interesting that Segura has played winter ball every year of his professional life as a hitter, even when he was a minor leaguer in the Angels organization. And this past winter was the year that he didn't play winter ball, feeling like he needed the rest. He won a Winter League batting title 2 years ago, prior to his All-Star season last season. And you just wonder. You wonder if he might need that little rhythm of winter ball. And there's a lot of pressure on these players to play in the Dominican Republic for their teams. The Brewers disallowed. Brewers have that authority to not allow players to play winter ball. Segura into right field. Pence plays deep, and he's there to make the play for the out. 2 outs. Well, the Giants tightening up their outfield with Pagan back in there. Menard's Giants defense, and you see the Posey-Susac combo at first and catcher, and Posey's been a more regular option at first base over the last couple of years for the Giants, a lot like what we're seeing with Jonathan Lucroy. And you figure Lucroy will start to play more at first base as his career continues, especially if he continues to hit.
Not as much wear and tear at first base as there is obviously behind home plate, in hopes that, you know, the Giants are figuring that if he stays fresh, he's going to be more productive at the plate. 19th start for Posey at first base this year.
Peralta off the end of the bat. Little pop up to Posey. And that will retire the side. So a leadoff walk. The Brewers strand him at first. Scoreless inning for Peavy. We go to the third. 1-0 Crew. Ball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin, and by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. What a day in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beautiful. Got the sailboats out there on Lake Michigan, not too far from downtown, just a few miles west. Miller Park, and the home of the Brew Crew. Giants and the Brewers, rubber game of this 3-game series. Giants are headed to Kansas City. Their road trip continues. The Brewers will host the Dodgers, and then Milwaukee goes on the road beginning Monday in Chicago. So the Brewers will have a Chicago-Los Angeles road trip coming up. Top of the order for the Giants. Angel Pagan leads off, third inning, 1-0 Crew.
Yeah, 4 games at Wrigley Field coming up next week.
I hope you'll make plans to come join us at Wrigley. A lot of Brewers fans make that trip.
Haven't been there in a while, have we?
It's the easiest thing in the world to do. Just get on that Amtrak Hiawatha line to Union Station. We'll be on it.
Brewers have not been at Wrigley Field since the end of April.
Actually caught some decent weather there at the in that series. Better than we expected. Have Brewers live pre and post game live from Wrigley Field next week. We'll have the whole party there. 1-1 to Pagan. And he takes a strike. Pagan singled in his first at bat since returning from the disabled list. A broken bat flare into right field. 1-2. And Peralta misses down and in.
Yeah, Pagan up there in the batter's box is constant motion. So is the guy on deck. Got a lot of high energy guys in the top of this Giants batting order today.
Bouncing ball to first. Peralta there for Reynolds, and out number one. And Willie has retired 5 in a row, getting a lot of ground balls. Last 3 outs have been ground ball outs. Has not been an out in the air today so far for Peralta. Strikeouts and ground balls. And when Peralta's going right, you'll see a lot of them. What was that game? He had 17 ground ball outs. Was that against the Marlins? It was a first pitch breaking ball in there for a strike.
Didn't have many fly ball outs against the Cardinals his last time out.
2.3 is the ratio. Ground balls to fly balls.
That's because of that heavy 2-seam sinker. When he's got it working, hitters have a difficult time elevating that pitch.
Pence reached on a fielder's choice. Was robbed of a hit by Segura. That was a diving play to the glove side by Segura. Pence had 2 hits last night, 2 out of 6. Lashes away at 1, 3-2 the count. Pence had been bounced around a little bit. He came up with the Astros, traded to the Phillies. A couple of years after that, traded to the Giants. That was in 2012. And he loved San Francisco, and he signed a long-term deal with them last September. 5-year contract extension. Pence grounds out. Another ground ball out for Peralta. 2 up, 2 down in the third.
Yeah, Pence has been a good player throughout his major league career. Bounced around amongst a few teams, but always seems to be right there. Ever since he left Houston, Philly, they were around for the playoffs, and now the Giants.
2 gone. Here's Posey. Had a single in the first, and a ground ball back up the middle. That's a line drive base hit. Posey jumping on Peralta quickly. He's 2 for 2 today. And the Giants with a base runner, their first since the first, with 2 outs for Sandoval.
Got a very quick bat on the inside. I mean, Willie left that one out over the plate a little bit. Didn't have a whole lot of sink to it, but Posey hits it hard in the left field. That's why you put him at first base from time to time. Keep him strong. Keep those hands quick up at the plate.
Posey's been swinging a hot bat lately as well, as has Sandoval. Can be a very tough lineup to get through, the Giants.
This guy here might be one of the toughest outs in baseball when he's going well, because he swings a lot of bad pitches and he can hit them hard. A very good bad ball hitter. Not many of those left.
That's a foul ball. Sandoval just trying to protect himself. And the pitch hits the bat, and it's 0-2 on Sandoval.
It's that four-seam fastball up and in, and right off the bat. And it looks as though Sandoval had a problem with his hands, maybe trying to hold up.
Two outs. Peralta has Sandoval in an 0-2 count with Posey at first. And he got him. Got him to chase a high fastball. Strikeout number 3. Willie Peralta bringing the heat. 3 shutout on the board. Bottom of the 3rd inning from beautiful Miller Park on a Thursday afternoon. Our Carsoup.com trivia question today: who holds the Brewers record for the most leadoff homers in a season? Gomez has 5 this year. That's a good question. Gomez didn't homer, but had a base hit to lead off the first. Foul ball in the seats. Yeah, good catch up there. Taking home a souvenir when he's supposed to be at work.
Now he's on television, and his secret's out.
It's good news, bad news situation there. Did the right thing, gave it to his boy.
It's not me, it's my brother.
Gomez back up the middle. Crawford ranges over and throws him out. Crawford's an excellent shortstop as well. Seen some good plays by the shortstops in this series. Gomez is 1 for 2. First man out for Peavy in the 3rd, and here comes Lucroy. Got some day baseball going on today in the big leagues. Nationals lead the Mets 3-2. First place Washington Nationals playing well. The Braves continue to slump. Atlanta's lost 8 games in a row. Nationals have a 4-game lead to start play today. Washington at 61-51. The Brewers 62-52. Best record in the National League, the Dodgers. They are 15 games over 500, 65-50, and they have a 2.5 game lead on these Giants. Dodgers will play the Angels tonight. Yankees Tigers are underway. The Yankees have the second best record in the big leagues since the All-Star break, behind only the Rays. They have a 1-0 lead over the Tigers. That game's in the 7th inning, going to the bottom of the 7th at Yankee Stadium. Cubs Rockies are in a weather delay.
And the Dodgers coming in here to Miller Park tomorrow. They've got the best road record in all of baseball. 12 games over 500 are the Dodgers on the road.
And the best records in the National League. Percentage points has the Nationals ahead of the Brewers as Lucroy into center field. Pagan froze for a minute, now having to hustle back. And he makes a catch for the out. Out number 2.
That one carried pretty well out there to center field. No, the roof is half open. Glass panels are opened up. They close that roof halfway to cut down on the shadows for the hitters so that they have a better chance at seeing the baseball when it comes in.
And all of the pitchers say thanks a lot.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You see where the shadows are out there in left field. And if you move that roof over to an open position, that same shadow line would be right across home plate. Here's Ryan Braun with 2 away. Drove in a run with a double into right center in the first. 66 RBIs for Braun. He's the club leader in that category. Well, Ryan Braun is on the Powerball home run leaderboard. He has 14 home runs. Mark Reynolds, the club leader. All 4 of those players in the lineup today. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braun is currently 6th in the National League in RBIs. It takes 74 to lead the league. That's Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins.
Even those numbers are down. RBI totals in baseball.
Yep. In a pitcher's league this year. Again, Braun strikes out, and Peavy, after a rough first inning, giving up 3 hits, has settled in. 3 up, 3 down, third. RBI double in the first inning has him on top as we go to the 4th. Now time for you to tweet your photo to us. Just make sure you use the hashtag WisFanPhoto. Put your first name on there as well. Maybe where you're from. You'll have a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by AT&T. Great day for baseball today. Great day for a lot of things today. Well, afternoon baseball at Miller Park. Game 3 of the homestand, a 6-game homestand in all, and an important one at that for the Brewers, facing the 2 contending teams in the National League West, the Giants and the Dodgers. Michael Morse leads off for San Francisco. He was hit by a pitch, just grazed a knuckle in the first inning. That was on a 2-strike pitch from Peralta. That loaded the bases. Peralta struck out the next hitter, Joe Panik, to get out of the inning.
Yeah, last 2 starts for Willie, he's left the bases loaded in the first inning. Cardinals and today, and both times did not allow a run.
Brewers got off to a good start offensively, had 3 hits in the first inning and a run. But Peavy has locked him down since, as Morse into right center. That's going to be a base hit. And Michael Morse starting to fight his way out of a slump. Had been 1 for his last 11. Morse had 2 hits last night and 3 RBIs in his first hit of the day.
Yeah, stands off the plate. He hangs those hands out away from his body, and Willie trying to come inside, leaked it out over the plate a little bit, and Morse big and strong. That nice swing on balance and hits one hard into right field.
Morse got off to a great start for the Giants this year. Hit a bunch of home runs early. Not many since. Panik on the ground. Chance to turn it. Weeks. Segura. Easy double play. 4-6-3 it goes. And the ground balls keep coming for Willie Peralta.
You can't ask for an easier double play than that. Little backhand flip over to Segura from Weeks. 2 hops, and doesn't get much easier than that. Even Panik with decent speed, no chance.
All of Peralta's outs coming on the ground. 7 ground ball outs. Wipes out the leadoff single. 2 out for Brandon Crawford. Well, in the National League Central, the Brewers still the 1-game lead over the Cardinals. St. Louis will have Wainwright on the mound tonight as they play the Red Sox. Brewers were able to get to Adam Wainwright in his last start.
7 runs.
Jumped his ERA all the way up to 2.26. He was at what, 1.79 before that. So that'll be a night game in St. Louis. Brewers would love to put a win on the board today and then have those trailing Milwaukee have to answer it. You got the Cardinals tonight. The Pirates are home tonight hosting the Marlins. It's always nice to, to go out there and put a little pressure on the teams that are chasing you by winning early. 1-game lead over the Cardinals after St. Louis's loss last night. And the Pittsburgh Pirates start play today 1.5 back.
Cincinnati 4.
And the Reds play tonight as well. They host the Indians. Full count to Brandon Crawford. Peralta with 3 Ks, 1 hit batter. And he loses him. His first walk of the day. 2 out base runner for the Giants for Andrew Susek. Now you start dialing into the playoff picture in the National League. Remember, 5 teams go, the 3 division winners and 2 wild card teams. And it can change a lot, but right now the Giants and the Cardinals are the 2 teams that are in for the wild card. That is a 1-game playoff to then advance to play the team with the best record in the National League. Right now the Dodgers hold that mark as they lead the West. Got the Brewers and the Nationals, the other division leaders, but there are a lot of teams, as you see, bunched up at the top.
It's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the way. I know you hear that a lot, but this is one of those seasons where it could come down to the last day in a number of different divisions.
Puts great emphasis on winning a division. That one-game wild card, who knows what can happen. Last year, the Reds and the Pirates played in that one-game wild card at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won it. And you think you've had a good year and you make it to the postseason, and if you're Cincinnati, that's satisfying. But they lost that game, and then Dusty Baker was let go. So that gives you an idea of where the one-game wild card playoff games stand. Expecting more out of that.
Yeah, Dusty did a lot of winning in Cincinnati, but just didn't win enough in the postseason. That's what it's all about.
You want to win the division, certainly, and now with the two wild card teams, the division winners are protected. You at least enter into a division series, of best-of-5 series, as opposed to that one-gamer. 2 balls and a strike on Andrew Susac, and right by him, 2-2.
96 up and away. Got good velocity. There's the pitch. Catching in front of the plate, but the velocity by Peralta gets it right by him.
Susac was robbed of an extra base hit by Aramis Ramirez in the second. Great diving stop and the throw to first from his knees. 2-2, and down he goes. A strikeout for Peralta. Back to the heat, dialed it up to 98. His 4th K, 4 shutout on the board. Aramis Ramirez ready to lead off as the Brewers head to the bottom of the 4th. Ramirez will start it. And Davis then leads. Take you back to the second. Ramirez is in our Southwest Airlines non-stoppable play. That was a beauty, robbing Susac of extra bases from his knees. Played the hop perfectly to get the Giants catcher.
Well, Ramos has only committed 7 errors this year. The Brewers have been fairly tight defensively. Left side of the infield's been very good.
First pitch, breaking ball for a strike from Jake Peavy. Ramirez falls behind quickly. He lined out to right in the first inning, hit it sharply, and almost hit it over the head of Hunter Pence. Wave and a miss.
He's starting to get a feel for that slider after the first inning where he didn't have much of a breaking pitch. And the slider's starting to come around. That pitch wasn't such a big deal for Peavy. I mean, even if he didn't have a good one back in his early days, I mean, he had that sinker that, you know, just like Peralta, he'd get it up there between 95 and 97. Not anymore. His fastball right now at about 92 at best. So he needs that breaking pitch.
In his Cy Young Award year, Peavy won the pitcher's triple crown. Led the league in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. Ramirez, a base hit just over the glove of Sandoval. Just reached out and backhanded one into left field. Got fooled by the pitch, but found the barrel, and Aramis Ramirez, a leadoff single.
Yeah, one-hander from Ramirez, keeping the bat in the hitting zone, flattening out the swing, and strong enough, able to hook it. That's out of the reach of Sandoval and down the left field line. Not too many do that better than Ramirez, taking a slider away and hooking it hard into left.
And if you're Peavy and you think you've made the perfect pitch, you've got him off balance, but Ramirez finds the barrel of the bat, lines one into left field. Chris Davis with a lead man on. Now Davis has been battling some nagging injuries here lately. Had a calf injury, had to come out of the game in St. Louis last Friday, and then has been dealing with a little tightness in his left elbow, his non-throwing elbow. That allowed Gerardo Parra into the lineup on Tuesday. Parra hit a decisive home run in the 7th inning. Made a great catch, had a good throw. Acquired via trade with the Diamondbacks. And so Wernicke thinking, you know, one more day for Davis to rest that elbow and give Parra, who's brimming with confidence after a big day Tuesday, give it a shot. And Parra was back in there yesterday.
And Davis came in late, hit a home run.
He almost hit 2 home runs. Had a pinch hit appearance and sent Hunter Pence to the fence in right field, and then hit one out his next time up. Power plays in baseball always has, especially these days, and Davis, he's not a big guy, but he has as much power as anyone in the game.
And just daring pitchers to come inside on him. He stands right on top of home plate, likes the ball in there, and can turn around a pretty good heater. Look at the look on his face. He knows he missed the pitch to hit that last swing. You don't get much reaction out of Chris Davis. He's pretty stoic. Look at those hands right on the inside corner.
One ball, 2 strikes. And the thing about Davis, he knows he can hit the fastball. He hits upper level fastballs. He almost dares you to try to thread the needle on that inside corner. And if you make a good pitch on the inside corner, you know, he'll tip your hat. But if you miss and it's just a little back over the plate, he can hurt you badly.
Yeah, but how many pitchers are very good hitting that inside corner, right? I mean, you can pitch anybody inside like that on the corner. With a good fastball, you'll get any hitter out. You know, the bet is when you're standing on top of the plate, they're not going to get it there. Most pitchers are going to work you away.
See Peavy mouthing the pitch to his catcher. That was interesting. Susak's going through the signs. Instead of shaking off, he just says whatever he said. Curveball, I think, is what he said. So I go, oh, okay. Yeah, that's the one he wanted, the curveball. Finally gets it. 3-2 the count, and Davis lays off. So Davis draws the walk. Good at bat for Chris Davis, and the Brewers maybe something cooking here in the 4th inning. So here is Ricky Weeks, 2 on, nobody out. Carsoup.com trivia. Brewers record for most leadoff homers in a season. Ricky Weeks would be the answer. Had 8 in 2010. Gomez has a chance to do that this year. Gomez has 5. And if he doesn't get it, it won't be for a lack of trying. If you're wondering, Weeks 8 is the franchise leader. Paul Molitor had 6. Paul Molitor, Tommy Harper, and Brady Clark all had 6 leadoff home runs in particular seasons.
And Brady wasn't even a home run hitter. Yeah, Molitor had some pretty good pop in that bat.
You have to have the county stadium asterisk on Paul Molitor.
A little tougher over there.
Yeah. The igniter, the Hall of Famer. Now Weeks in the role of run producer here. 2 on, nobody out, and a bouncer to short. Could be 2, is 2. Peavy gets a big ground ball double play. Weeks on the 6-4-3.
Well, we mentioned that the Giants' second most double plays turned in all the National League, and it's been a big part of their defense this year. Slider, Ricky tried to pull it and bounced into the 6-4-3 double play.
Room service, been a couple of those in this 4th inning. Peralta got a 4-6-3 double play in the top of this frame. So a promising inning is now up to Mark Reynolds to try to make something out of it. 2 outs, runner at third. Brewers lead 1-0. Reynolds getting the start against a right-handed pitcher. Been in a bit of a platoon with Overbay, not a firm platoon by any stretch, because Reynolds does get frequent starts against right-handed pitching. And even though his numbers aren't very good against Jake Peavy, Renicky likes the most recent matchups. A lot of those numbers came early. Peavy was more of a power pitcher.
Well, Reynolds has been swinging the bat well. He might not be getting a lot of hits, but a lot of hard hit balls. Had a couple of home runs as of late. And with the Brewers offense needing some run production, you throw Reynolds out there for the quick strike.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Reynolds flew out to left his first time up. Peavy fooled him on a slow breaking ball. One, 2. Well, Reynolds doesn't chase. Peavy doesn't grunt and growl as much as he used to. Back in the day, he used to, well, you could hear him. I mean, and you'd have to watch your mics every now and then, because there's a lot of things coming out of his mouth you don't want on the air.
Yeah, especially when he makes a bad pitch, right?
He was screaming out there. Reynolds, they'll ask if he went. He did not. Checks his swing.
I guess you don't want to be out there grunting when you're throwing 91 miles an hour.
Yeah, I
mean,
guess
you can get away with it when it's 97.
Yeah.
And Slider and Reynolds able to hold up.
Bruce Bochy says he's one of the most competitive people that he has ever known. And he knew him when he came up as a kid with the San Diego Padres. He was just 21 when he made his debut for the Padres. Reynolds pulls one, foul. Sandoval had the line protected over there.
That's that slider from Peavy. He's been throwing a lot of those pitches. Realizes fastball doesn't have much on it. A lot of breaking balls. And lately the Brewers have been trying to pull him. That's why Peavy's been able to keep him off the board.
Brewers scored in the first. Ryan Braun with an RBI double. Got a runner at third with 2 outs. Full count to Reynolds. And he takes ball 4. Another good at bat. Second walk of the inning. That double play is a big play in this frame. Now first and third with 2 outs, and here comes Segura.
Another 3-2 breaking pitch from Peavy. He is not willing to throw that fastball in a fastball count too often. One of those guys, you go up there, look slide, he can still get a piece of the fastball. He's not throwing that hard. So a lot of breaking pitches.
Well, Segura flew out to right in the second inning. 3 hits yesterday. Average at .237. Big spot for him. Got the pitcher Peralta due up next. Looks like Peavy will be aggressive with Segura at the plate. And he chases another one. No balls, 2 strikes. Segura was 1 for 3 against Peavy earlier this year, back in April. Peavy pitching for the Red Sox at Fenway. Peavy in the driver's seat. No balls, 2 strikes. Runners at the corners. 1 and 2. Aramis Ramirez at third base. He started the inning with a single. 2 walks in the inning, a double play. Yeah, nice block back there by Andrew Susac.
That pitch way off the outside corner, able to slide over, keep it in front of him. Calling just about nothing but breaking pitches for Jake Peavy in the last few innings.
So he's got his fingers painted white. So Peavy can see the signs.
I like that better than the fingernails.
You're not into the fingernail, the little tabs, little stickers.
No.
Well, here comes a 2-2, and Segura fouls it away. Some guys would put tape on their fingers. I never understood that. Because you still have to throw the baseball.
Yeah, but you put it the thin white tape and you put it between the knuckles. You don't have it in an area where you would actually.
Not on your fingertips.
Not the fingertips, no.
Were you a tape guy or did
tape? Tape. I didn't have the whiteout idea back then.
No. Hadn't evolved to that point.
And I don't think I would have painted my fingernails either.
Segura on the ground to second, and Peavy's going to get out of this inning. Now the Brewers get 2 walks and a hit, but they fail to score, and it's still 1-0.
fifth inning here at Miller Park, and in our Crew in the Community this Saturday, fans will have the opportunity to donate $40 in exchange for a mystery bag, which will contain an autographed baseball by either a Brewers player, manager Ron Renneke, or the Hall of Famer Bob Uecker. The Brewers' wives will be selling the mystery bags throughout the ballpark on Saturday until they are sold out, and proceeds from this mystery bag event will support the Next Door Foundation. Brian?
All right, Sophia, thanks. Great to have you with us today. Fox Sports Wisconsin, not originally on the schedule as a television game today, but we added it, and we're happy to be here. Thanks to all of our crew. Assembling all the pieces, getting the band back together for today's game. And we'll have all the day games, adding 4 ball games covering this pennant race for the Brewers. Peavy cut it a miss. He's down 0-2. Yeah, got a nice crowd today. A little breeze blowing through Miller Park on a beautiful cloudless Thursday afternoon. That is a swing and a miss. Lucroy not going to be able to get to this one. Peavy's going to reach after a strikeout. So Peralta picks up his 5th strikeout, but Peavy is aboard. See how they score that. I assume that'll be a wild pitch.
Well, slider, and Peavy waved at it. Let's see where it ends up. I mean, that's one that I think Lucroy, if he reaches for, he's able to catch. But, you know, just to be safe, goes down but goes right under the glove.
Oh, and a base runner, top of the order coming up. That one will burn Lucroy. He takes great pride in blocking pitches, and he's about as good as there is in the game doing it. Rarely see him let one go by. It'll be a wild pitch on Peralta officially.
The Brewers have not allowed too many wild pitches and one of the fewest pass balls in all of the National League. So Brewers catchers have been doing a nice job.
Pagan slaps one foul. Sounded like he broke his bat. Nice catch up there. Yeah, I think you get in a pennant race, and the Brewers, you know, they have struggled at times. They've not won a series since they swept the Reds here at Miller Park. Split with the Giants, lost back-to-back series on the road. And it's easy to nitpick and find the areas of concern, the holes. But I think overall, Brewers have a lot of areas of strength. Their catching position is one of them. The envy of many ball clubs. You talk to a lot of scouts who cover the Brewers, and they always rave about the 2 Brewer catchers.
And just to back up the comment on the wild pitches, the Brewers have allowed the 3rd fewest wild pitches in the National League. Lucroy, Maldonado responsible for that.
I think you got to put Lucroy in the MVP discussion, considering the position he plays and the kind of offense he brings.
And the Brewers have allowed the 2nd fewest pass balls, only 5.
Yeah, Peralta has Pagan 1-2. Runner at first, Peavy. Oh, look at that play by Lucroy. A little redemption keeps Peavy at first. 2-2 the count. That was a tough one to block too. All the way in the left-hander's box.
And he's able to square his shoulders. You see the way he throws that right shoulder around to try and stay square. I mean, if he just slides across, that ball is going to carry him over toward that Brewers dugout if you don't try and square those shoulders. It's not an easy thing to do.
Once that sinker. 2-2 on the way, and a bouncing ball. Reynolds can't get it. Weeks can't get it.
How many times have we seen that with this Giants team in this series? Another seeing eye base hit out of the reach of both Reynolds and Weeks. Didn't hit it hard, but put the ball in play and snuck it into right field.
Well, now Peralta in trouble here. 2 on, and the muscle coming up for the Giants.
That's a good pitch right there, down and away. Pagan rolls over on it. Check it out, because Reynolds is holding the bag, just not able to get there.
The symbol of the seeing eye single. Pagan has 2 hits in his return. Now Hunter Pence. And a fastball strike. Perfect location on the outside corner. Big inning here for Peralta. 2 on. He's probably on the mound wondering how there are 2 runners on base right now.
Right. Strikeout and a little chopper over the infield.
Pence bouncing ball up the middle. Weeks can't get it. And Peavy coming around third, and he will score. Man, oh man. All tied at 1.
Yeah, a little roller to center field. You're Ricky Weeks. You got to try and dive and keep that ball in the infield. Yeah, Ricky gave up on it. Didn't think he could get to it. You're tied on it with a man at second and a roller through the infield. You try and dive. Ball was probably by him anyway. We'll see. Not sure if he could have got there, but you dive, try and keep it in the infield, then maybe set up a double play. And as it stands, still nobody out, and the Giants in business, first and third.
Well, a few feet one way or the other. That's a double play chance for the Brewers. Instead, a 4-hopper through the infield and a base hit RBI for Pence. All tied at 1, first and third, and the big bat coming up in Buster Posey. It's kind of the way the game went yesterday for the Giants offensively. They had 14 hits. They had 13 singles in yesterday's game.
And a lot of them just like that. You know, little rollers up the middle, in the hole, out of the reach of the Brew Crew.
That's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, when you make contact, you put the ball in play. That's what happens sometimes. Give yourself a chance.
Well, Peralta needing a ground ball double play here with Posey at the plate. He's bounced into 12 of them this season. That's a lot, but he has 2 hits, and he is a dangerous bat. First and second, nobody out. 1 run is in. And a strike on a slider. 0-2 the count on Posey.
And Posey doesn't like the call. Slider, I'm not sure where he thought it was. It was a pretty good pitch. Had the plate. It was high enough. And gets the call.
Got him. Peralta backs that slider up, and down goes Posey. There's a big one for Willie Peralta, his 6th strikeout.
And that one was a backup. That actually went the other way. Didn't break it all, and I think that's what fooled Posey. He was thinking that ball, as he saw the spin, was going to go away from him, and it didn't. Tied him up.
First out of the inning. And now Sandoval, who is 0 for 2. Peralta struck him out in the 3rd. Sandoval been on a great run at the plate. He's played stellar defense as well. Hasn't made an error at third base since late May. Had an error briefly on his line yesterday. It was eventually turned into a hit. He's had 61 games without an error. And he gives you a lot at the plate. Bouncing ball. Weeks is there. Steps on the bag. Throw to first in time. A double play. Willie Peralta. That's what aces do. Mix them up. Weeks comes in. Turns a 4-3 double play. A run scores. We're tied at 1. score in the top of this 5th inning. Hey, a reminder, tomorrow is Retro Friday here at Miller Park. The crew will wear throwback uniforms as they take on the Dodgers. All fans in attendance will receive a free vintage Brewers t-shirt courtesy of Orbis Corporation. Just call 414-902-4000 or you can visit brewers.com for tickets. That'll be Josh Beckett on the mound for the Dodgers tomorrow. Matching up against Kyle Loesch. Beckett, Greinke, Kershaw. The rotation for the Dodgers this weekend. Willie Peralta leads off, skies one into center field. Angel Pagan waiting and out number 1 on 1 pitch. Well, some kind of job by Willie to get out of a mess in the 5th.
And think about the 2 guys he had to get out to do it. I mean, Buster Posey ready with a couple of hits. Struck him out, and then Sandoval on the double play. And he's turned the corner. He's been able to minimize the big innings, something he had to learn to do. He had a tough time with that in the first half last year.
Oh, and an inning that maybe shouldn't have been. The run is an earned run because of the wild pitch. But remember, Peavy, who scored the run, reached after he struck out. And Lucroy had one go between his legs. Doesn't happen very often with Lucroy.
And wild pitch, an earned run, pass ball, unearned run. It's kind of the way the scoring works.
That was a good job by Peralta.
This doesn't seem to get rattled anymore when he's in trouble. He's able to maintain his mechanics and keep his focus. Been an amazing turnaround for him.
Starting to look like a guy that you can put at the top of the rotation as Gomez strikes out. Well, Peavy is giving the Brewers fits on these breaking balls. And Carlos Gomez, second strikeout victim for Jake Peavy.
Kind of that 3/4 delivery, and Gomez in swing mode, and that one not even close.
All right, here's Lucroy now. 2 up and 2 down. Lucroy at the plate today, presented by Wendy's. Had a single his first time up and a fly out to deep center in the 3rd. Lucroy had a nice day against Peavy in Boston earlier this year. The Brewers swept the Red Sox at Fenway Park. That was the first road trip of the year. Cold, miserable, rainy series in Boston in early April. Seems like ages ago. Lucroy had a couple of hits, including a home run.
That was a nice road trip for the crew. 6-0.
Yeah, swept the Red Sox and the Phillies.
Yeah.
It's in our AT&T U-verse rewind. Jonathan Lucroy got the turtleneck on. Peavy left one up, and Lucroy sent one over the monster. I beg your pardon, that was the double. And then sent one over the monster. Matter of fact, he hit it out of the stadium.
It looked like a pretty good day. Wasn't any rain.
I remember it that way. It's the coldest games of the year. That was I believe the Friday game, was it not? And then the next day, Saturday.
That was the cold day.
That was a brutal night.
Right.
Brewers won that game in extra innings. 2-2 to Lucroy. In the air, right center field. Well hit. Down it is. And Pence cuts it off, but bobbles, and Lucroy will roll into second base with a double. His second hit. It's a 2-out double. And the Brewers put the go-ahead run aboard.
He can lay off those sliders off the plate, and he's forced to come in with a fastball, and that's what Luke was able to do. Gave him the fastball, did Peavy, and got a lot of the plate with it. Most of the mistakes he's made have come on the fastball. particularly in the first inning, but the Brewers have been chasing his slider, and Peavy has not had to throw the fastball too much.
Now Lucroy is soon to catch Paul Goldschmidt for the National League lead in doubles. That's Lucroy's 38th. Goldschmidt is out for the rest of the year with a broken hand. That's 39. Lucroy is on a pace to set a franchise record for doubles if he continues, held by Lyle Overbay. All tied at 1. Here's Braun. He drove in Lucroy in the first. In the first inning, Braun drove one to the wall in right center. Lucroy scored from first.
And most of the damage lately for Braun has come to right field, right center. Everybody deep in the outfield except for Pagan. He's pretty shallow in center.
Didn't mean to do it. Braun tried to check it, cuts through, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Braun's about due to hit one out. His last home run was on July 24th. That was against the Mets. Giants just tied it in the top of this 5th inning. And the Brewers trying to get it right back, trying to regain the lead. Susac will bring Crawford in. They might be wanting to change the signs here.
Yeah, you got a catcher out at second base. Sometimes catchers are pretty good at stealing signs, although he hadn't been out there very long. 2 pitches. Can't imagine that's what that is. Sometimes you get a catcher to lead off an inning with a double. He's out there for a few hitters, and you might be able to pick up what they're doing. That series of signs that catchers get with a man at second base. That's ordinarily when you change him up a little bit.
Lucroy, he'll be off with the crack of the bat. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Braun, did he go? Yes, he did. Unable to check that swing, and it goes to 1-2 now on Braun.
Well, both times sliders out of the strike zone, and Brewers are having a difficult time with that pitch.
That hit by Braun in the first, just his 2nd career hit against Peavy. Now 2 for 10 lifetime. And he strikes out. Braun is gone. Peavy goes back to the slider, and the inning is over. Braun strands Lucroy. Still tied at 1 as we go to the 6th. Miller Park Thursday afternoon. Final game of this series. The Giants just tied it in the 5th inning. Peralta has done a nice job tonight. He's had some good glove work behind him this afternoon. And started in the 1st inning. Gene Segura able to get it out at second base. And then Susac, a shot down the line. Heck of a play by Aramis Ramirez. That's the play of the day so far. And then Ricky Weeks starting a 4-3 double play to get Peralta out of a jam in the 5th.
The Brewers have turned 2 double plays in back-to-back innings. Michael Morris rolled into a double play. Actually, no, that was Panic and then Sandoval.
10 ground ball outs, 6 strikeouts for Peralta. Giants have not made an out in the air, and he has looked dominant. But the Brewers offense has gone a little stagnant here since the 1st. It looked like it had a chance to be a good day against Jake Peavy. 3 straight hits to start it offensively, scoring the 1 run. Not much since. Brewers have a run on 5 hits. The Giants have out hit the Crews 6-5. Giants have left 6 on, including the bases loaded in the 1st inning. And the Brewers have stranded 5. Four afternoon games in the big leagues today. They are finally underway in Colorado. The Cubs and the Rockies had a long weather delay there. Just underway in the 1st. And they're coming to the end in New York and Washington. Yankees have a 1-0 lead over the Tigers in the 9th. Nationals Mets are in extra innings today. 3-3. Top 10. First place Nationals. Tell you, the Yankees have hit their stride a little bit. They made some nice trades, picked up some pieces for their rotation. There's a called strike 3. Morse was on his way to first. Alan Porter says not so fast. And down he goes. Strikeout number 7 for Willie Peralta.
And he just been able to hit those corners right there. A slider right there on the edge. Fox Tracks had it off the play, but it looked pretty good to me. There it is right here. Well, you like an umpire that's willing to go a little bit off the play. We didn't see that last night. Pitchers having to throw the baseball basically down the middle last night. A little bit different tonight.
Joe Panic takes a strike. He was a strikeout victim in the 1st inning. Bounced into a double play in the 4th. That looked like a changeup from Peralta. He has that pitch. Typically only uses it against left-handed hitters. That's something when you can throw a changeup 86 miles an hour.
Yeah, 86, and you only maybe throw 2 or 3 of them, but you know he's gotten some outs with that pitch. You're right. In key spots to some big left-handed hitters.
3 balls and a strike on Panic. Young prospect second baseman getting his first significant run in the big leagues. Giants had signed Marco Scutaro to a 3-year deal after his great postseason run in 2012. Got another year with Scutaro under contract. He's been injured. Back up the middle. Peralta knocks it down. Trying to recover. Throw to first. And it's in time. What a play. Willie Peralta put his glove on the highlight reel with the others.
Yeah, some kind of athlete, Willie Peralta. And Dan Wright, the head athletic trainer, wants to come on out. Knocked it down. Willie scampering after it and making a nice throw to first base to get Panic by a step.
Oh, heck of a play right there. You could see Reynolds. He was bracing for a 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Peralta. What, about 50 feet?
Yeah.
He was ready to make a play. Peralta zinged one over, and Reynolds made the catch.
Yeah, you're all right if it's a little bit high, but if it's low and you get handcuffed, those don't feel good at first base.
Good play all the way around. 2 outs in the inning.
That's why you saw Reynolds get down a little bit, because he didn't want to have to reach down for that baseball. When they throw him hard like that.
Peralta again. Much easier chance. Crawford is out. Good inning for Willie Peralta. Helped his own cause with his glove. Bottom of the 6th coming, all tied at 1. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite, now in the original can, it's Miller time. Well, we got a pitcher's duel going today. Willie Peralta and Jake Peavy. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Brewers and the Giants all tied at 1. Peavy was in one of these games his last start against Jacob deGrom and the Mets. Took a perfect game into the 7th inning, as did deGrom. Peavy lost that game. He's 0-2 as a Giant, 1-11 this season. Got an overall earned run average of .473. Third start in San Francisco. Ramirez had a leadoff single in the 4th inning, was left stranded at third base. Brewers have stranded a runner in scoring position 3 times today, including the last 2 innings. And have left 5 on overall.
0 for 5 with runners in scoring position today. They've had their opportunities. And you'd certainly like to get the Peavy, get a couple of runs before you have to deal with that Giants bullpen.
Two balls, 1 strike. Ramirez to be followed by Chris Davis. And Aramis hits that one a ton into right center field. Pagan is over. Can't get there. Off the wall it goes on a couple of bounces. And Aramis Ramirez with a double. He's 2 out of 3. And again, the Brewers put their lead runner aboard.
And one of the problems with playing shallow in center field, Pagan's been playing a relatively shallow center field today. Another fastball. Every time it seems like the Brewers put Peavy in a position to have to throw the fastball, they're able to get some hits. And you see Pagan straight away, the ball slicing away from him. He's playing shallow and not able to get back. Peavy thought that was an out when that ball was hit, and so did I.
Aramis Ramirez, who once led the league in doubles, back in 2012, is approaching 500 doubles in his career. That's number 454 in his career. And he's the go-ahead run at second base. Chris Davis.
Man, that's the risk you take when you play shallow in the outfield. I mean, you're going to take away a lot of base hits that would normally fall in front of you, but you give up that slugging percentage, that double. And Pagan's still shallow with Chris Davis at the plate.
See, a lot of teams defense the Brewers with deep outfield play, trying to take away the extra base hits. Davis slices one foul down the right field line.
Pagan is shallow, and both Morse and Pence are relatively deep. So you can pretty much draw a straight line from left field to right field and intersect all three outfielders. Pagan very confident in his ability to go back. That's pretty shallow in center for a power hitter.
1 ball, 1 strike on Davis. And a little flare. That's going to fall fair. Squirts down. A fan grabs it. Boy, Ramos Ramirez comes in to score. Fan grabbed it. You're probably thinking about a double and an RBI. And no harm, no foul there. So Chris Davis puts the Brewers on top.
And a little jam shot. Yeah, once again, it looked like a fastball to Davis on the inner half of the plate. Tried to get in on him. There it is. He's setting up inside. Davis with the inside out stroke dumps it down the line, and so back-to-back doubles from Milwaukee to start the 7th. I should say the 6th.
Brewers take the lead. Yeah, don't grab a live baseball. Doesn't factor into this decision, as Ramirez would have scored anyway. And there's Weeks with a base hit. Davis got a late start. He'll hold around third. Had to make sure the line drive cleared. And the Brewers start this inning with 3 straight hits. 2-1 crew. First and third. And Dave Righetti, the pitching coach of the Giants, on his way out.
And another fastball. Again, you put him in a fastball count. And for some reason, Peavy's going away from the slider, a pitch that has been very successful for him today. He's had the Brewers chasing that slider all day. All 3 hits on fastballs in this inning. You wonder why he went away with the slider.
Righetti might be buying a little time here for the Giants bullpen. Gutierrez getting loose. We saw him yesterday. He did not get an out, gave up a couple of runs. Brewers trying to put together a big inning. Good start to the 6th. 2 doubles and a single. First and third, nobody out. And Mark Reynolds coming up. Giants have an interesting defensive alignment here with Reynolds at the plate. They've got Brandon Crawford halfway in. You see Panic closer to the bag at second, thinking that Reynolds is going to pull the ball. And I would imagine here, if they get a sharp ground ball, they have a chance at the play at the plate, or might try to start a double play. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Well, they're not thinking that Reynolds is going to roll a ground ball in the hole between first and second, but the trick is that they're halfway, opening up a big hole for Reynolds up the middle and into left field.
Well, if you're Chris Davis in this situation, you have to run on the crack of the bat if it's on the ground, just to stay out of the double play chance. I'd be curious to see if the Giants are going to concede the run to turn 2. Or if they will try to make a play at the plate. It's a big decision for a manager in a spot like this.
Well, if they were going to concede the run, they wouldn't be in shallow like that. They'd be in regular double play depth. So I think that the thought is they're going to go home if Davis takes off. If he stays, they're going to try and turn a double play. Depends on what Davis does. That will dictate what the Giants do defensively.
And you wonder if it's automatic that Davis would take off.
Normally it is.
Games the managers play within the game. 1 and 2. Reynolds launches one to left field. Morse going back. This will be plenty deep to score the run as Davis tags. Throw comes to second, and Mark Reynolds plates Chris Davis. Brewers lead 3-1. Sac fly and an RBI for Reynolds.
And Jake Peavy's hot out there in the mound. He's upset. Him talking to himself. We talked about Bochy saying what a competitor he is. He certainly is. And all goes back to that Aramis Ramirez at bat with Pagan playing shallow, and Ramirez was able to launch one over his head. And Pagan's back a little bit. That's going to be an out, and you might not see this inning for the Brewers.
Well, the Brewers have put 2 on the board here in the 6th. They lead 3-1. RBIs from Davis and Reynolds. And here is Gene Segura with Ricky Weeks at first.
This makes you wonder why Peavy in the beginning of this inning, first 3 hitters went away from the slider. Brewers didn't have any chance on that pitch. They were swinging the pitches way out of the strike zone for some reason. They was throwing fastballs in this inning, and the Brewers able to capitalize.
Peavy threw a couple of nasty sliders against Ryan Braun. He struck him out with Lucroy at second base. That's how the 5th inning ended. Peavy has 3 Ks, and he's punched out Braun twice. Brewers have 3 runs on 8 hits. 2 of the runs, 3 of the hits coming in this 6th inning. Two and 0 to Segura. Fly ball slicing down the right field line, foul. Not a whole lot of room out there. Once it gets past that point, there's only a few feet of foul territory down the line. Pence was going at it as if he was going to try to move the wall and make the catch. That's what you love about Hunter Pence. He's not afraid. So 2-1 to the Brewers shortstop. Three and 1. Last year Segura hit .294. Maintained a .300 batting average most of the season. Just tailed off in the final few weeks of the year. It's been a tough year for him offensively. There's a shot. That's a base hit. So Gene Segura with the 4th hit of the inning for the Brewers. And it's 1st and 2nd with 1 out. And the pitcher Peralta coming up.
No, that time Peavy left a breaking pitch down the middle of the plate, and Segura able to go out and get it, banging it up the middle. Didn't try and pull it. And left it up a little bit, but Gene stays right on it, out of the reach of Crawford, and the beat goes on for the Brewers here in the 6th.
4 hits in the inning. 2 doubles, 2 singles.
And you got to believe if Jake Peavy's allowed to face Peralta here, this will be his last hitter.
I wonder if Peralta is going to be up there to swing away, try to drive in a run, or do you have him bunt the runners to to second and third with Gomez coming up next.
They bunt him over. Keep him off the bases. Play it safe. Peavy's spot is due up second in the top of the seventh, which is why Bruce Bochy's being a little bit patient with him out here.
Weeks at second, Segura at first, and Peralta shows bunt, bunts it foul. Giants had both corner infielders crashing in on Peralta there. Sandoval at third. Posey over at first. Every defense has a couple of different plays for situations like this. And Peralta shows bunt, gets it down. That's going to stay fair. And Peavy throws to first for the out. Peralta never moved. Just glad he didn't get hit by the pitch. I think it confused Peavy. And once the umpire said that's a fair ball, Peavy made the play, and it's a sacrifice bunt advancing both runners.
Yeah, look out, Willie, right here. This is what you fear when you have your pitcher going up there to bunt. Pitch up and in, but somehow Peralta able to get it down. A beautiful bunt for Willie, his seventh sacrifice bunt, and that leads all Brewers pitchers.
And that's going to be the end of the line for Jake Peavy. So Peralta advances the runners, and Peavy is gone. 5 2/3 innings. Gomez coming up at a big spot. We'll take a break.
Couple of runs before they have to deal with that Giants bullpen. Now this is what Peavy was doing just about all day. The slider, the Brewers are having a difficult time laying off of that pitch, but for some reason here in the sixth, throwing none of the fastballs, and Ramirez doubles. Davis able to dump it into right field on the fastball, and then Ricky Weeks able to get the fastball. And the only slider that the Brewers were able to get a base hit on was that one to Segura on a 2-2 count. Left that one up in the strike zone, but not sure why Peavy went away with the slider in the beginning of this inning.
Could be a pivotal inning here for the Brewers. They've scored twice. They have taken the lead. Peavy is out, in danger of losing his 12th game of the season. And it's 3-1 Milwaukee. Second and third. Those runners belong to Peavy. New pitcher is Juan Gutierrez.
Gutierrez pitched in last night's ball game. Did not get an out. Gave up a couple of runs and a couple of hits. Now the Brewers are hoping that trend continues. A 3.06 earned run average for Gutierrez in his 48th game here today.
Those were inherited runners that scored on Gutierrez yesterday. Affeldt gave up the base hit to Ramirez to play 2. So here's Gomez. 2 out, second and third. Carlos today is 1 for 3, singled in his first at bat. Peavy struck him out his last time up. And Gomez pulls one foul. Well, a base hit here for Gomez with the speedy Segura at second. Could hit the 60 RBI number. Sitting on 58. Gomez, a .340 hitter with runners in scoring position, second in the National League. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gutierrez deals and Gomez fouls it away. As good as Gomez was last year, finished with an OPS last year of .843. He's at .850 right now, best he has ever been in his career. Getting on base a lot and hitting for a lot of extra base hits, a lot of slugging average. 1-2 and a swing and a miss. He strikes out. So Gomez is out. The Brewers strand 2, but they score 2. And they now have a lead. 4 hits in the inning, starting with Aramis Ramirez in a double. Davis then doubled in a run. Got a sac fly by Mark Reynolds to make it 3-1. That's where we sit through 6 at Miller Park. Now lead 3-1 as we go to the 7th. And as promised earlier in the broadcast, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Don't forget to tweet your photo using the hashtag #WisFanPhoto. And it comes to us today from Victoria. What is that? I have no idea what that is. Something with a hat on. I can't tell. Is that an onion?
Your guess is as good as mine, partner.
That's good artwork.
Maybe a painted baseball.
Maybe. Andrew Susac leads off. I'm almost afraid to ask. Put myself out there a little bit with that question.
Yeah, well, never ask a question you don't know the answer to.
We'll see how Peralta fares now that he's been staked to a lead. Just 1 earned run allowed today by Peralta. Well, he did a great job getting out of a mess in the 5th. Got a couple of base hits. Struck out a batter, Peavy, to start it, but then a wild pitch on the swing and miss allowed the base runner on. But then he struck out Posey and then got Sandoval to bounce into a double play to end the inning.
They're their 2 best hitters.
Pitch number 99, and Susac into center field, a base hit. Leadoff single for the Giants catcher.
Yeah, that was at 97 miles an hour. So Susac Now his first base hit. Well, fell behind 2-1, and Susak able to get a fastball down the middle with something on it, but able to turn it around into center field.
Giants are going to go to their bench. Travis Ishikawa spent a little time with the Brewers. Knows the Giants well. Came up with San Francisco. And you got to watch the first pitch here. He likes to swing early. Takes it low and away. Ishikawa's second appearance in this series. Had a pinch hit appearance on Tuesday night. Flew out to center field.
And that was on the first pitch.
Peralta's gotten a lot of ground balls in this game. Looking for one here. And it's 2-0. Peralta does not have a fly ball out yet in this game. Strikeouts and groundouts. Has 7 Ks. Coming off a 3-up, 3-down 6th. Not called a strike. They'll ask if he went, and he did go. So a swinging strike. 2-1. Jeremy Jeffress loosening in the Brewers bullpen. Top of the order is coming up next. And then you got a string of right-handed hitters. 2-2. Ishikawa late fouls it away. Willie Peralta trying to win for the 9th time after a Brewers loss. That's starting to become a pretty significant stat.
Yeah, it is. 11 starts after a loss, and he's won 8. That's not bad.
8-3.
That's the way you minimize losing streaks.
Brewers lost last night, trying to take the series with a win today as Willie misses down and away. Now it's 3-2. Be curious here to see if Bochy sends Susak. Does he try to stay out of the double play? Ishikawa does strike out a little bit.
Bochy has done a lot of that in this series, sending runners to try and avoid the double play. Willie gets a lot of ground balls. He might go.
Full count. He stays put. Ishikawa fouls it away. This is a key hitter for Peralta. Hitting changes dramatically if Ishikawa reaches. Top of the order coming up next. Full count. And a called strike 3. Peralta rings the bell. Boy, he put it in a perfect spot. He froze him.
He wasn't looking for that pitch inside. Everything was away from Ishikawa. And Lucroy wasn't even looking for it inside. Catching the inside corner. A lot of times you're not going to get that call. Pitcher missed his spot by the width of the plate. Lucroy setting up away, catches the inside corner, but look at that's right in front of Alan Porter.
And 8 strikeouts for Willie Peralta. That ties a career high. Set that mark against the Diamondbacks last year in July. 1 gone. Here's Pagan. Giants leadoff hitter batting with a runner at first, and a big swing and a miss. He's trying to hit one out.
2 for 3 for Pagan. Nothing hit all that hard. A jam shot in the right, a one hopper over Reynolds' head his last time up.
Lucroy sets up inside, and the fastball misses. Hunter Pence due up next. Brewers just scored 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Peralta trying to get him back to the dugout with the lead. And Pagan fouls it away. 1-2 the count. Well, you can really see what Peralta is doing here and why he's been so effective inside, outside. Has that nasty slider. Still got the great velocity going here.
Be a good pitch right now if you can get that back foot slider, get it down in the dirt. You just don't want to hang it. I mean, you're going to be doing a hitter a favor if you leave that pitch up in the strike zone. Let's see if Lucroy has enough confidence in it to call it.
He wants it. One gone with a runner at first. And a swing and a bouncer foul.
And put it in a good spot.
Pagan did a good job to foul that one off. Angel Pagan, his first game back from the disabled list. He's been playing down in the minor league rehab leading up to today. The 1-2, and it's upstairs, ball 2. Pagan's a lot like Hunter Pence in that he takes pitches like he's just seen a snake. Jumps out of the way. Completely surprised.
Yeah. He's into it. So is this guy right here.
Yeah, that's a tough bat. Coming up next. Pagan with 2 hits today. Had a broken bat flare that fell in the first inning, and then hit that ground ball between Reynolds and Weeks his last time up. And he hangs in there again. There's some tough pitches to foul off. Pagan just got a bat on the ball to stay alive. Count remains at 2-2. Peralta now with 113 pitches. That ties the most he has thrown all year. So
I think the leash is going to be pretty short at this point. You don't want him to go too much more. And certainly if Pagan reaches, you figure he's done.
Brewers looking for a ground ball here. 2-2 the count. And it's ball 3. Well, keep an eye on Susac at first. The catcher. Does he run in a 3-2 count?
It didn't last time. With Ishikawa at the plate, he didn't take off. Not much of a lead.
Full count. Willie delivers, and a strike called. He got him. Peralta strikes out Pagan.
Yeah, looking to take a walk. He didn't think Peralta was going to throw a strike, and took one right down the middle of the plate. My goodness. What are you looking for if you take that one? It says on right at the bottom of the strike zone. He gave up on that pitch early.
Back. 2 strikeouts, both backwards Ks. Peralta is out with 2 outs and a stand to go on his way to the dugout. 3-1, still has a runner on base, his responsibility. And the most pitches he's thrown in a game all year, a career high 9 strikeouts, and Peralta comes out and dominates the Giants. 1 earned run in 6 2/3.
And even the hits weren't hit all that hard. I mean, not too many hard hit balls off the bat of the Giants today. Willie really had him tied up. And when you talk about dominating a lineup, Willie Peralta with 9 strikeouts, every other out was a ground ball out. That's amazing. 10 ground ball outs, 9 strikeouts, and Willie Peralta continues to impress. Another solid outing for Ron Renick and the Brewers.
And 2 of those ground balls, 2 of the 10 produced double plays. So 115 pitches, and the 9 strikeouts, a career best for Peralta. Now he has to wait and watch as Jeremy Jeffress enters the game. 2 outs. Hunter Pence coming up. Jeffress with a blazing fastball as well. And he misses low and in.
He pitched on Tuesday in the Brewers' victory and got the Brewers out of a tough jam in the 8th inning. 7th appearance, I should say 8th appearance for Jeremy Jeffress, a 150 earned run average. Has not allowed a home run.
And he falls behind Pence 2-0. Well, you got Buster Posey coming up next.
They bring this young man in, and he has been thrown right into the fire. Some key spots for the Brewers ever since he's been called up.
Jeffress was the closer at AAA Nashville at the time of his promotion. And the Brewers need him to be a late inning reliever as Pence in the air to right field. Braun is there, and Jeffress comes on, shuts it down in the 7th. Willie Peralta in line for win number 14. Brewers lead 3-1.
Of the seventh inning stretch here at Miller Park, and today's time of the game winner, Sneakers Sports Bar and Grill in Janesville. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Head to the bottom of the 7th. The Brewers up 3-1. Out hit the Giants 9-7. Took the lead with 2 in the 6th inning. Willie Peralta continues to be a story. Had a lot of pitches today, but able to get through 6 2/3 innings. Gene Machi is on the mound for the Giants. He'll have the 7th. Second appearance in this series.
Yeah, he was a losing pitcher on Tuesday. Yeah, gave up a run. It was an Gerardo Parra home run. Only the 2nd home run he's allowed this year. 51st appearance. And the Brewers hung the only loss on him this year. He's 6-1.
See a lot of split finger fastballs from Machi. Jonathan Lucroy will lead off. Brewers have Lucroy, Braun, Ramirez coming up. Jeremy Jeffress getting the final out of the 7th inning, getting Pence to fly out to right. It looks like Jeffress will remain in the game. He's got Posey due up to lead off the 8th, and then Sandoval.
Has a pretty good fastball by Jeffress. A 2-0 count to Hunter Pence, able to bust it in on his hands with some good lively movement at the end. Young man's got a terrific arm. He starts throwing a breaking pitch for a strike. He's going to be a good one.
See that confidence growing every day. Every time he faces a big hitter like Hunter Pence, gets it out. He's been thrown right into the fire here for the Brewers as Lucroy pops this one up. Back is Panic, and there is out number 1. So Lucroy retired. Here comes Braun. Very uncharacteristic of Braun, his last 2 trips to the plate, chasing breaking balls in the dirt.
Just wasn't able to pick up that slider from Peavy.
He did double in a run in the 1st inning, snapped an 0 for 10 streak for Braun. Drove in a 66 RBI. He's in the top 6 in the league in ribbies. Willie Peralta continues a nice trend for the Brewers starting pitchers recently. There's a bouncer back to the mound. Machi underhands it over to Posey for the 2nd out. 2 up, 2 down. The Brewers starting pitchers over the last 16 games now a .264 earned run average. Kyle Loesch will be on the mound tomorrow. Jimmy Nelson Sunday. And we'll find out after the game today. Stay tuned for Brewers Live post game. Ron Renicky said he would announce who his Saturday starter is afterwards. Renicky said he knows who it is. He just didn't want to tell us who it is just yet.
Did he tell you?
He did not tell me. That's what he told me. He knows who it is.
You're holding out. You know.
I don't know. I promise. I have my theories, but
as do I.
Manager's pretty firm about stuff like that. I actually asked him why he is not telling anyone. He goes, you know, first of all, there's a lot of things that could happen in a game.
It could change, right?
Things could change. You never know, and I don't want to make a commitment publicly here. All parties who need to know, and we would not be included in those parties.
Oh, that goes without saying.
So whoever's supposed to pitch Saturday has a notion that he's going to pitch Saturday, but there is that caveat that things could change. So we respect the manager in that regard.
Yep, those two know, because once you say it publicly, there's no way you can change it.
Can't change it now. It's just set in stone.
Yeah,
absolutely. Imagine how upsetting it would be. Ramirez to Crawford, and Machi with a 3 up, 3 down 7th. Got a tight one here at Miller Park. Brewers lead 3-1. 8th inning coming up. final game of this series. Giants are headed to Kansas City after this one. The Brewers stay here, welcome in the Dodgers tomorrow. And the Brewers lead 3-1. Jeremy Jeffress will remain in the game. Got Buster Posey coming up. Jeffress got the final out of the 7th, stranding a runner at first. Now Jeffress had one of the bigger battles in this series when he struck out Buster Posey with 2 on. And preserving a 1-run lead, the Brewers would win that game 4-3.
That was a 3-2 pitch.
He had thrown nothing but fastballs until that slider to Posey. And here's another rematch. Starts him with a breaking ball. Posey has 3 hits in this series, 2 of them coming today. He's 2 for 3. A couple of singles. Did not start in the opener on Tuesday night. But he did pinch hit, and that was his pinch hit appearance. That strikeout from Jeffress.
Hey, Willie got him on a slider his last time up after a couple of singles. Better put it in a pretty good spot. You hang it, and he's going to knock it out of here.
There's a good fastball. Outside corner strike. 1-2 now on Posey. Well, he struck him out with a slider on Tuesday night. Does he go back to it?
I think Posey was looking for the slider that last pitch. That's why he took the fastball.
Lucroy sets up outside, and there is the slider. Posey checks his swing. I love that part of the game. You know, catchers, pitchers, batters going through the mental Rolodex. What he got me out on last time, if you're a hitter, trying to think what he might throw. Pitch sequences. They pour through the stats, and fun part of the game. 2-2. Got in on his hands. He fouls it away. That came in at 98 miles an hour.
And Posey able to get a bat on it. Coming in on him, boring in on his hands with that 2-seam fastball.
See what Jeffress has in mind. Little pop up, foul territory, and Reynolds just out of his reach. Back to the fastball for Jeffress. Sandoval would follow, and might see a left-hander in the game for Sandoval. Figure that would be the case if Posey reaches, and he swings and misses. Jeremy Jeffress dials it up, a fastball right by him, and out number 1 on a K.
Up in the strike zone at 98 miles an hour. Not even a guy like Posey can get a bat on that pitch. Middle in, up in the zone, and Jeffress impressive in striking out Posey. 2 times he's faced Buster Posey, struck him out both times.
And that'll keep him in the game here with the Brewers up 2. Sandoval will face Jeffress. You figure if Posey had reached, you'd like to turn Sandoval around to be a right-handed batter. Ron Renicky has been saying for the last couple of days he is waiting for someone to step up and show that he can be the setup man, somebody who can handle the 8th. Smith had that job earlier in the year. Jeffress has the stuff to do it.
He's been throwing strikes for sure. I mean, that's one thing that he has been able to do. The Brewers would like to be able to see him get more confidence in the breaking pitch. Something to keep the hitters off the fastball. Most of the time reluctant to throw it.
One ball, one strike on Sandoval, who's 0 for 3 today. And one of the key at-bats in the game, Sandoval was at the plate with 2 on and 1 out. And he bounced into a 4-3 double play to end the inning. That was the turning point for Willie Peralta. A run had scored in that inning on a single by Pence. Peavy scored the run. He reached after he struck out and reached on a wild pitch on the swing and miss. So Peralta with just 1 earned run in 6 2/3. 1-2 misses, not by much. 2-2.
Well, you throw that for a strike. Doesn't even have to be that good of a pitch. Just off the outside corner, I guess. Foxtrac's had it for a strike. There's no way hitter's going to swing at that because he throws so hard. You got to look fastball. Just throw it over the plate.
And I think there's a little bit of unfamiliarity between Lucroy and Jeffress, and that'll. You saw Lucroy go to his knees to try to block the pitch, and it stayed catchable. That might have influenced the call behind the plate. You never know. Full count. Sandoval lashes one foul.
And sometimes when the catcher's moving around to catch a pitch, that movement kind of disrupts the focus of the umpire. You don't get a call. Not always, but sometimes. There haven't been too many complaints about that strike zone by Alan Porter today. Not like last night.
We'll do it again. Another payoff pitch coming from Jeffress. And Sandoval walks. So the Giants will bring the tying run to the plate. And a power hitter in Michael Morse.
Well, it's always Miller time in the Miller Lite beer pen every Friday home game, including tomorrow night against the Dodgers. Fans 21 plus who sit in the Miller Lite beer pen will get a free Miller Lite Brewers hat. For details, visit brewers.com/beer pen.
Got to get back to your seat quickly. Just about everybody in their seats right now. Big spot in the game. 1 out, 8th inning. Here's Morse. And a wave and a miss. Defensive swing on another big fastball by Jeffress.
Keep the pitch up there. Belt and above with the fastball. Tough to get on it for the hitter. You get it down in the strike zone a little bit different. We've seen Michael Morse get some base hits on pitches away. Stay in on his hands. I guess that's your best bet. Right there.
Right in there. 0-2.
Exactly where you want it. And Lucroy setting up on the inside corner, and look where he put it. Perfect.
Morse does ground into a lot of double plays. 16 double plays grounded into this year. Runner at first, 1 away. No balls, 2 strikes. Jeffress delivers and a swing and a miss. He struck him out, went with a breaking ball. And Morse is gone. And Jeffress has 2 Ks in this 8th inning.
And that's probably going to be it for Jeremy. That was a hanger. Look at that one right down the middle of the plate. Didn't do much. That's what I'm talking about. You just throw that pitch once in a while. Throw it over the plate. Morse very much fooled, and he's behind a pitch that hung up in the strike zone.
So Jeffress, another good day on the mound, and he gets 3 big outs for Ron Renicky and the Brewers. A couple of strikeouts in this 8th. Big lefty coming in with the left-hander coming up. As a late inning weapon for the Brewers, and he gets a couple of strikeouts, punches out Posey and Michael Morse. Sandoval still at first. The Giants have the tying run at the plate, and Renicky is going to play matchup here with a couple of left-handers coming up. Will Smith, the big lefty, on the mound for the Brewers, trying to get the final out of the 8th.
Yeah, Paddock and Crawford, both left-handed hitters, guys in the middle of the infield for the Giants. Pitched on Tuesday. A third of an inning, walked a batter. And Will Smith coming in for Jeremy Jeffress, who once again doing a bang-up job out of that bullpen. He's been a nice surprise for the Brewers. Talking about Jeffress.
Willie Peralta, 6 2/3. Jeffress goes an inning with 2 Ks and a walk. And now Will Smith, one of the dominant relievers in the game through the first half of the season, trying to get back to that form. Joe Panik at the plate for the Giants, and Smith misses with a fastball. Panik is 0 for 3. Young hitter just up from AAA. Came up in late June, and he's been a hot hitter. And a bouncing ball that's going to roll through, a base hit. So Panik finds a hole, and now the Giants have the tying run aboard. Joe Panik is now 6 for 11 against left-handed pitching in the big leagues.
Hangs right in there, doesn't he? He's been pretty good on off-speed pitches. There's that Will Smith offering. A fastball middle away and hooks it into that big hole between first and second.
Now here's Brandon Crawford. Lefty's only hit about 150 off of Will Smith. Got a base hit. His first batter faced. Crawford a big swing and a miss. Crawford is another guy that swings the bat well against left-handed pitching. He's hitting .321 against lefties this year. Everyday shortstop for the Giants. Sandoval at second. Panik at first. The tying run. And there's a fastball strike.
Yeah, right in on his fists. Left-hander looking away for that slider, and Will able to bust the inside corner with it.
No balls, 2 strikes. Smith deals an 0-2 in the dirt. Lucroy blocks it. That's a big play. Keeps the tying run out of scoring position. Those are the kind that don't show up in the box score, but they mean a lot. Not just keeping the runners at bay, but also the confidence of a pitcher to be able to throw it in the dirt.
Man, that was what was so shocking about that wild pitch that got by Lucroy on that strikeout to Posey. He's been almost perfect blocking pitches.
That led to the only run of the game in the 5th. Here's a big one. 1-2 the count. And a swing and a miss. Smith struck him out. The Brewers bullpen, Jeffress and Smith striking out the side around a walk and a hit. Still 3-1 Milwaukee. Bottom of the 8th coming up.
Mound here at Miller Park. The scoreboard reading 3-1 Milwaukee over San Francisco. The Brewers trying to get this series win. And Davey, behind every good pitcher is some great defense, and boy, did we see it this afternoon behind Willie Peralta.
Well, we certainly did, and that's one of the things that have been pretty consistent with the Brewers all year has been their defense. And as you see, the great play by Segura right there, diving to make play. But this is outstanding by Ramirez, and then throws the one hopper. Their defense is just coming along so well, and then you're able to turn the double play, a pitcher's best friend.
A couple of double plays turned for Willie Peralta. No fly ball outs for Peralta, who's hoping to win his league high 14th of the season. The Brewers trying to add on here in the bottom of the 8th. Brewers live post game on the way afterwards. Brian.
All right, Craig and Davey, thanks. Here we go. Bottom 8, 3-1 Brew Crew as Chris Davis leads off. And the new pitcher is Yusmeiro Petit for the Giants. 30th appearance of the year.
A big strikeout guy, 75 strikeouts in 72 innings of work. He's allowed to 7 home runs, however. And one of the few guys with an earned run average over 3 coming out of that bullpen for San Francisco. It has been a very strong group, that bullpen for the Giants.
This is the rubber game of the series. The Brewers trying to win this series and remain atop the National League Central Division standings by themselves. Open the day with a 1-game lead over the Cardinals. Into center field. Davis sends that one deep. Pagan going back, and with room, he's got it. Wrong part of the ballpark for Chris Davis.
But a good approach. Didn't try and pull it. And hit it well. Doesn't seem like the ball's carrying all that well today. The wind is blowing in. You can see the flag out there in left center blowing in. A stiff easterly breeze off of Lake Michigan, which means there's a few waves out there today.
Good surfing. Here's Ricky Weeks. Not good on the pontoon, though.
No.
A little choppy.
You need a V-hull for those waves out in Lake Michigan.
Excuse me?
V-hull?
Oh.
V-hull?
I see.
H-U-L-L?
I thought you called me a bad name.
No. Would I do that?
Yes, you would. You do it all the time. Between just about every inning. Ricky Weeks takes a ball down and away. By the way, honesty compels me to let our audience know that you're playing hurt today. You had a little minor surgery done on your finger, and you still showed up.
And it doesn't even hurt.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's been fully medicated for the entire game.
It's amazing what a couple of relief can do for you.
And when Rock tells the doctor, I want a local anesthetic, that means local all over.
Right. Yeah. The heavy stuff, the really good painkillers, they come right after the game's over.
Here, and here for the local anesthetic. Well, we appreciate you showing up today.
It's going to be a very mellow evening at the house.
That one's in there. Called strike 3. Weeks is out. 2 gone in the 8th. And here comes Mark Reynolds. Sacrifice fly in the 6th. Reynolds on the Powerball home run leaderboard has contributed a team high 19. Brewers have 115 for the season. And going along well in the home run hitting category. This is game number 115 of the season.
They've hit 3 in the first part of this homestand. 2nd in the league. Brewers are, unless they get a long ball here, looking to win a game without the benefit of a home run.
Reynolds with a sac fly in the 6th. After Davis had driven in Ramirez with a double. That 2-run 6th inning. Right now, that is standing up tall with the Brewers in the lead. Francisco Rodriguez preparing for a save opportunity in the Brewers bullpen right now. The Brewers pitchers have struck out 12 Giants today. Peralta had a career high 9. And then Jeffress with 2. Will Smith struck out Brandon Crawford to end the 8th inning with 2 on. One ball, 2 strikes on Reynolds. Petit with a breaking ball fouled away. Good crowd on hand today. Over 38,000 enjoying this one. You can do some nighttime scoreboard watching tonight. The 2 teams behind the Brewers, the Cardinals and the Pirates, both play tonight. Cardinals hosting Boston. Pittsburgh hosting Miami. And the next opponent for the Brewers, the Dodgers. They'll be playing into the late night hours out west in Anaheim against the Angels. Dodgers made a trade today. As Reynolds sends one right center. Pagan on the runs, got some carry to it. Pagan makes the catch. Reached out at the last moment to make the play for the out. Inning over, and we're set up for the ninth. The Brewers lead 3-1. K-Rod coming in. Here as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Frankie Rodriguez on to try to save it. But don't forget, this Sunday the Brewers and the Dodgers will match up. You get your very own chorizo racing sausage bobblehead courtesy of Clements. And for tickets, call 414-902-4000. Visit Brewers.com. That'll be Jimmy Nelson and Clayton Kershaw this Sunday. Cerveceros Day in Milwaukee. Gerardo Parra enters the game in left field for Davis. And it'll be Frankie Rodriguez trying to nail down the save. Columbia St. Mary's save tracker at 33 for K-Rod. Looking for number 34. He picked up number 33 in game 1 of this series.
Yep, sixth season of 30 or more saves in the career of Francisco Rodriguez. And a big strikeout total, 61 punchouts in 52 innings of work. And as you mentioned, he picked up a scoreless inning to pick up number 33 against the Giants on Tuesday.
Trying to make a winner out of Willie Peralta, who would be the first to 14 wins in the National League. 3-1 Brew Crew. Top of the 9th. Andrew Susak leads off. Giants have been knocking at the door a little bit in this game. They had 2 men on base with nobody out, and Posey and Sandoval coming up in the 5th and could not score. Peralta was able to get out of that mess with a strikeout and a double play. Giants left 2 on last inning as well. And there's strike 2 right on the edge. A changeup from K-Rod.
Well, the money pitch, and basically his outings come down to his command of that pitch. And there's a good start.
Oh, and 2 the count. Tried to fastball. That's about as hard as Rodriguez can throw the fastball these days. That was a good one. 93 miles an hour. The 1-2 doesn't bite. Count evens at 2-2. Well, if the Brewers can hang on and close this one out, and Peralta would get the win, he would be the first in the major leagues to 14 wins. Rick Porcello had a chance to win today. He's sitting on 13, but he lost. The Yankees beat the Tigers 1-0. Wainwright will be on the mound tonight. He's at 13 wins. Just 2 pitchers in the American League have won 13 games. Porcello and Max Scherzer on the same staff with the Tigers.
It's amazing when you look at Willie's, month to month. He's got 6 losses this year. 4 of them came in May. But he pitched well in just about every outing. Been good.
2-2. Lead batter in the 9th inning, and he fouls it back. Susek had a good cut.
That fastball right down the middle.
There are 5 13-game winners in the National League. Peralta would be the first to 14. Wainwright pitches later tonight. Madison Bumgarner's on that list. He goes tomorrow for the Giants against the Royals. A 2-2. Another foul out of play. Tough battle here with the young catcher Andrew Susek. Gregor Blanco will hit next. Go back in the pitcher spot, and then you go back to the top of the order.
And Frankie's leaving that changeup up in his zone enough to allow Susek to get a piece of it. Needs to get that changeup more down around the knees. That's where he gets his strikeouts.
8th pitch of the at bat. Count goes full. Susek had some power in AAA, had 10 homers in Fresno in the Pacific Coast League. 268 hitter at the time of his call up. Payoff pitch. Bouncing ball to short. Segura, tough hop. In time. 1 away. Big out for K-Rod. The first one. And the Brewers keep the tying run in the on-deck circle.
And right back to the fastball in the full count. Didn't want to walk him.
Rockar, Miller Lite, what's on tap? You got the Dodgers coming in. As of right now, Josh Beckett is the probable to start against Kyle Lohse, but there are a lot of reports out there that Roberto Hernandez will start for the Dodgers, as the Dodgers made a trade with the Phillies. The former Fausto Carmona, a pitcher that the Brewers have faced this year, Roberto Hernandez. And Hernandez pitched very well against Milwaukee here at Miller Park, part of that 4-game sweep by the Phillies. So until we get official notice, it is Beckett, but there are a lot of rumors out there that Hernandez gets the ball tomorrow, and then Greinke, and then Kershaw.
Those that need to know already know.
That's right. That's the way it works. You're catching on now.
It's only taking me a while. I'll get there.
Pinch hitter Gregor Blanco at the plate. Big cut and a miss. That was a curveball from K-Rod.
And a beauty. Wow, 76 miles an hour. Big break on it. Straight down, and Blanco way out in front. That's a good pitch.
0-2 on the pinch hitter. Blanco is a .278 hitter off the bench this year, 5 for 18. Lucroy setting up inside. And an 0-2 is way in there. Giants have been a hot team. They've won 5 of their last 7 coming in. Took 3 out of 4 from the Mets. And the Brewers 2 outs away from winning this series. The 1-2 outside, ball 2. Blanco into right center field. That ball is well hit. Gomez on the run, and he makes the play. Carlos Gomez, full throttle, runs it down for out number 2.
Well, normally if it stays in the ballpark, pretty good chance Gomez is going to be able to make the catch. The ball was slicing out there. It was a high breaking ball. Ball slicing right back to Gomez. Nearly overran it. Sometimes doesn't know his own speed.
Looked like a sure extra base hit when it left the bat. But Gomez put on the afterburners. 2 outs in the inning. The Gold Glove center fielder makes a good play. The Brewers have had a great game defensively. 1 out to go. Tying run still on deck. 2 outs with Pagan at the plate. First ball swinging, fouls it away. Count evens, 1-1. Angel Pagan has 2 hits today. Peralta struck him out in the 7th inning. That was Peralta's last hitter. Willie's 9th strikeout, a career high. So far, the bullpen has been outstanding. Jeffress to Smith, now to K-Rod. The 1-1, Pagan in the air left field. Parra is on the run, and the Gold Glover makes a catch, and the Brewers win. They beat the Giants, and they win the series. And Major League Baseball's first 14-game winner is Willie Peralta. Yet another win after a Brewers loss. Peralta 14-6 for the season. Now 9-3 after a Brewers defeat. The Brew Crew taking 2 out of 3 from the Giants. K-Rod save number 34. It's time for Brewers Live. We check in with Craig Cashon.
Well, Ron Renneke, look at him smiling. Good to see. He'll have good